Greetings, old school magic players, and welcome to the Four Horsemen. Greetings, old school magic players. Welcome to the Four Horsemen on Sunday, September 22nd. Today we're going to be covering some Four Horsemen tournament number 15 matches. We've got a couple of our players lined up in our Four Horsemen Whereby channel, and we're going to be covering. These are some group matches for the tournament 15. All right, let me switch over to our whereby. All right, here we go. So today we've got, let's see, our players are Chris Sternard on the left and Taylor Boston on the right. And I think John is with me. John, are you there in the background?
How's it going?
John is out and about, but we're gonna commentate together. We have not seen the deck photos for these guys yet, so we're not sure what these guys are playing, and we're in the early group round. So this is one of the final group matches that we're playing as we're working up to our top 16 playoffs. I can probably jump over into the brackets real quick, and we could look at the tournament brackets while the guys are getting ready to play. So Taylor actually injured his eye, and he wasn't sure he was going to be able to play, and so we were going to have to give a win to Chris. So I'm going to reset the match slip right now. And so John, you played Ian. You won 2-0-1. Taylor and Ian won 2-0. You beat Taylor 2-0, and you beat Chris 2-0. So, be interesting to see what these guys are playing. It looks like Taylor is starting off, but he's got a bit of a glare on his new camera setup. I hate that glare. When you're going straight down, it can be a problem. Oh, that's a little better. He must have like a fluorescent straight overhead light. He needs to turn on like a side lamp. Let me jump in and tell him. Hey, Taylor, if you have like a side lamp, there you go. If you have like a side light, when you get that overhead light, that looks pretty good right there. I think that'll work. You got it. Okay, so Taylor is on red. He's got Kurt Apes. John, you haven't played Taylor yet, have you, or did you? You did play him, right?
Yeah, I did. I played everybody in the pod.
Okay. So you probably know what he's on. If he's playing a first turn Kurt Ape, he must be running red-green aggro probably, right?
Yeah, I think so, although I don't remember the extent of his build.
All right, and looks like Chris is also running red, first turn mountain for him. That second turn forest gives the Kurt Ape +1/+2, so he's getting in for that perfect hit. I mean, that's what you want when you got Kurt Ape. Oh,
it's the old-fashioned way. No taiga here, just a good old forest in the mountain.
Yeah, and look at that, John. He's got a second ape. What a start.
That's pretty good.
Really good. Okay, so Chris comes in with Badlands. Okay, so Chris is on black-red, and he's playing a Fellwar Stone. Dang, that is rough. Hitting in for 4 on turn 3. So 2, 4, 6. So that takes Chris down to 14 already. That is a lightning fast start for Taylor. Okay, Goblins on the Flarg. Haha, looky there, John. We've seen this before, right? Anybody that's running Blood Moon, you can definitely justify running Goblins of the Flarg and the Mountain Yetis, because they both mountain walk. Oh wow, Taylor gets a strip mine. Oh man, he's just hitting on all cylinders here. So he's coming in for 4 with the apes. And Chris is deciding not to block. He does replace the Badlands with black-red. Oh wow, look at that. Giant strength on the mountain walking Goblins of the Flarg. So that gives them +2, +2. Oh, wow. And he chain lightnings one of the apes. Are you seeing this, John? This is some action.
Yeah, it's red on red. It's my favorite thing.
Yeah, I figured you would like exactly this type of matchup. John is a longtime favorite red player. That chain lightning right on time to take care of one of the apes. And that giant strength on the mountain walking goblins makes him a 3/3. Although Taylor did top deck a Maze of Ith. Look at that.
Yeah, that maze is pretty mean. That's really gonna change the math.
Well, but I assume since Chris is running main deck mountain walkers, he's got to have some blood moons in there, so he'll be able to deal with that Maze of Ith eventually. Uh-oh, here's 3 mana. Is he going to deal with it right now? Oh, looky there, blood moon, right on time. Making the, oh wow, look at this. What is that, vampire bats?
Vampire bats, I love to see it.
Yeah, I mean, John, you were experimenting with the black weenie type cards, and we have not seen vampire bats in quite a while, but these guys are true old school from the dark, or no, from Legend. 0/1 flying, you pay 1 black and up to 2, and you can pump them in the air, +1, +0. So, all right, so Chris is coming in with the 3/3 mountain walking. Oh, what is this? Another giant strength on Taylor's side. They're both running giant strength. Wow. So now that Curd Ape becomes a 4/5. Wow. This is some fancy Four Horsemen old school right here. Both guys are running giant strengths. Target creature gains +2, +2. Making those guys pretty big. Oh my goodness.
Look at that! A second giant strength.
Wow. Oh my god. So now that Goblins of the Flarg is a 5/5, and the Curd Ape, that mountain walks, and the Curd Ape is a 4/5. He's able to take care of the Maze of Ith with his Blood Moon, which is just perfect. I missed it while I was showing the cards on Gatherer, but Taylor used Immolation to give the flying vampire bats +2, -2. So that zapped the bats. And then Chris played a Ornithopter. We haven't seen Ornithopter much. Ornithopter. Haven't seen that card in forever. It's from Antiquities, and it is a 0/2 flyer for 0. Okay, so Taylor busts out with a Emerald Dragonfly, another classic. We saw a lot of this one in the Four Horsemen Popper event. Green flyer that you can make first strike by paying 2 green. That's a card we don't see too often, but can be really good with cards like Giant Strength. So Will Taylor, who's it on right now? Is it on? Looks like it's on.
I think it's Chris's turn right now. He's
Yeah.
He's gonna chain lightning, and then he's gonna come in with his 5/5 Mount Walker.
Yeah. Now will Taylor remember that his Maze of Ith is a mountain and he can bounce that chain lightning back? Looks like he's not remembering it. Or is he? Ugh, that's tough because that's 3 damage. He could bounce it back to Chris, but then Chris could bounce it back to him. So maybe he doesn't want to do that. He could end up taking 6 damage on his ape, or at least 3 more damage. Well, this has turned out to be quite an interesting and lightning fast match here. I don't think I've ever seen a double giant strength Goblins of the Flarg before. That's pretty wild.
It's the thing we love to see here.
Yeah, you'll only see this kind of magic in Four Horsemen. And typically we saw this in like Pauper Singleton, Pauper Doubleton when we played the Pauper formats last summer, but and we haven't played a Pauper event since. All right, well, Taylor's got a lot of mana now. He's got mana for Urnums and Triskelions and Desert Twisters. He's got everything he needs. Oh, the Brute. Now that's another card that we saw a lot in Pauper, Singleton, and Doubleton. The Brute. That is a very interesting, never really much played card outside of our Pauper events. It's a red and 1 enchant creature, and the target creature gets +1/+0, and you can play 3 red and regenerate it. So
Regeneration's pretty good when you can actually block, but with the mountain walking, he's just in trouble.
yeah, that mountain walk is really hurting him. Now notice this: he's got an artifact blast. I missed he artifact blasted Chris's Jaloon Tome. Jaloon Tome's super powerful, definitely a staple in this format. Chris top decks a forest. So he was able to actually counter that Jaloon Tome. Oh, now this is the risk of enchant creatures. Fisher. So that is a 3-for-1. And now Chris gets in for... Oh, whoa, what is that? Oh, no way. Avoid Fate? He's running a Avoid Fate main deck? What? Wow, this match is full of surprises. Oh my goodness. So Avoid Fate is one of my favorite Four Horsemen cards.
There are now 4 giant strengths on board.
Just wild. Counter target instant enchant creature / aura spell that targets a permanent you control. So you can counter instants and enchantments. Wow. So double giant strength with the Brute. Oh man. Wow. What a game. That was so fast action packed. I could barely keep up. So did Taylor get rid of Chris's mountain walking goblins? I didn't catch that.
No, I think he just scooped.
Oh, okay. So Chris definitely won that match, right? Because he had that 5 damage mountain walking each turn. But those were some great surprises on Taylor's part. Main decking things like Artifact Blast, because there's tons of artifacts in this format, and main decking things like Avoid Fate. I've got that card in my sideboard for this tournament, mainly because of all the enchant creatures, along with stuff like Presence of the Master. But to run it main deck is also really smart because there's tons of instants between things like Crumble and Divine Offering and Fisher, and there's just a million enchant creatures. So it's really smart if Taylor was planning on relying on his own buffs like Giant Strength and the Brute, that he'd want to protect his dudes from being enchanted and disabled. So it's really smart to run that main deck. Okay, and Chris is running black and red. We only saw the vampire bats for black from Chris's side. I wonder what else he's got in there that's black. Any guesses, John? Maybe some Erg Raiders and...
I don't have any idea. I don't know what these guys have in their sideboards either, so this is going to be really interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if Chris could run heavy black, like double or triple black casting costs if he's running Blood Moon himself, because it'll disable his Badlands, turning his Badlands into mountains. But if he's running a lot of basic swamps, he could definitely run things like the Kumbaj Witches and Erg Raiders. I know you were running those in your black aggro test deck. The Kumbaj Witches are just phenomenal.
There's a ton of good, cheap casting cost black cards. Over the summer when we did the league and I had all those different decks I tried out, I played pretty extensively with a Suicide Black with a lot of cheap weenies, and it was good, but it didn't quite get there against cards like Triskelion. But there's a lot of good cards.
Yeah, Erg Raiders are the classic, right? A 2/3 for 2 mana, but they deal damage to you if you don't attack. Those guys are phenomenal. And those vampire bats, that is interesting. We really haven't seen vampire bats. But you know what? They can fly, and they can be pumped to 2/1, so they can be 2/1 flyers. They can definitely, in combination with mountain walking, you could see how that could be appealing. The vampire bats. There's not a ton of good red flyers, which we found in the Four Horsemen Pauper event. We were playing things like Bird Maiden, a 1/2 for 2 and a red. Not great.
I feel like we've gone pretty deep, especially with when we did the Pauper and when we did we've got Singleton coming up. It's pretty we've gone pretty deep on the card pool.
Yeah, for sure. Now, Taylor's been playing with us for a while, and he always brews really kind of off the wall, spicy, crazy stuff. And he's tried some Titanium Song decks. He's tried some Bizarre Baghdad decks. I think Derek's been messing around with some of that stuff too. So, it's always cool to see new players coming in and trying out different things. Looks like he's talking about the art from his sleeves. Okay, so Chris was able to emerge victorious from game 1 in this best 2 out of 3. And both these guys are running aggro red. Taylor running red-green, and Chris Sternard running red-black. Looks like maybe both players will keep their hands. Oh, nope. Looks like Taylor is taking a mulligan. Ye old mulligan. All right. Well, what do you think, John? red-black versus red-green. I mean, black's going to have oubliettes and ashes to ashes, so I have to think that Taylor is going to be heavily at risk on his enchant creature spells if oubliettes and ashes to ashes end up coming down.
But Green's also got some good stuff too. He could be dropping Urnums. He's got those Avoid Fates for removal. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's right. Urnum is top dog in red-green for sure. Played in a ton of decks. Super strong. And he's got first turn Kurt Ape on Taylor's side with the Taiga, but Chris is able to drop a Felwar Stone and play a Ornithopter and a Chain Lightning. Now, did Chris go first here? Because he's got more land than Taylor. So
isn't it?
Yeah, what I'm thinking is, oh, look at that. Giant strength on the Ornithopter. Wow.
Did Taylor win one somehow and we didn't realize it?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Because he's got more land. Unless Taylor missed the land drop.
Funny that he missed it.
Well, he also took a mulligan, so... Well, okay, so it's the Battle of the Giant Strength. So Taylor plays an Emerald Dragonfly, and he's got his Giant Strength on it, and then he also puts his Eternal Warrior. Eternal Warrior is another card we haven't seen since basically Pauper, and it's a card that's almost never played, but it's super strong. It's 1 red, and your creature has vigilance and doesn't tap when it attacks. Pretty strong. Okay, so Chris...
I don't think I've seen Eternal Warrior since my kitchen table in 1996.
Yeah, I just pulled it up on Gatherer to show the viewers. Wow, this is quite interesting. A Giant Strength Ornithopter, so that's now a 2/4 flyer. That's pretty good. And a Dragonfly, Emerald Dragonfly, that's a 3/3 flyer that doesn't tap when it attacks. So he can attack, but in this case, Chris can block with a 2/4. That Ornithopter is effectively like an Azure Drake now. Wow. This is why it's fun to watch these group matches, John, because a lot of these guys are playing, let's say, less cutting edge, competitive.
Well, they're less spiky, right? They're delving a little more into the card pool, and they're... I don't know. It's interesting to see some of this stuff. It feels like I'm playing at my kitchen table, and I love it.
Yeah.
And I love seeing some of this stuff. I'm wondering, we haven't really seen a whole lot of black cards out of Chris other than the Vampire Bats. I wonder if he's playing Oubliette or not. I mean, if he does, it'll be good because it'll get around the Avoid Fate because it's not an aura. But I haven't seen any other black cards out of his deck, so I think that this flyer is going to be a problem for him.
Yeah, he just discarded an Inferno, so he's actually running Inferno. That card is pretty fun, but it costs so much. It costs 7 mana to cast. Oh, wow, look at this. So now he's going all in on this Dragonfly. He's trying to immolate it. I don't know if he can do that. Let's see. Yeah, he can, because it'll make it
it makes it a 5/1, I think, but he can give it first strike with
2 green.
By paying 2 green.
Wow.
It does make it a little weak to an upcoming Chain Lightning, though, which makes me a little, nervous. But right now, it's pretty good.
Right. Yeah. I mean, immolation. Talking about old school table magic. Immolation is like an extra lightning bolt in many cases for creatures. Okay, so that's what we're worried about here. A Fisher. That's why it's not always a wise thing to double down on stacking all these enchantments on one creature. And Taylor's well aware that Fisher is a thing in the format. He plays it himself. Oh, Crimson Manticore. Remember that guy? Wow. Am I spelling that right? Yes. Crimson Manticore. 2/2 flying for 2 red and 2. You pay a red, tap it, and the Crimson Manticore deals 1 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. Now, we did not see this card in Four Horsemen proper because it's a rare, but that card is interesting. And meanwhile, Chris drops a Fallen Angel. So there's one of your favorite cards, John.
Fallen Angel's great. Taylor got me really good in one of our group matches with that Crimson Manticore because it deals like 1 extra damage to a blocker.
Yeah, it's really, really useful. Okay, so Taylor tries to Chain Lightning the Fallen Angel, and Chris sacrifices his Ornithopter to the Angel to give it +2/+1 to save it. He couldn't bounce the chain back. Oh, and here comes a second Angel. Meanwhile, Taylor has played the Skull of Orm, which allows him to return his enchantments from his graveyard to his hand. I like the old school penciling in the life, too. We haven't seen that in a long time, either.
Wow, double Fallen Angel seems pretty threatening here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big challenge for Taylor there. The Brute. Ooh, what an answer. Now you can regenerate. Huh. So he's got and it gives him +1/+0 on that Brute. So that will give that Crimson Manticore, make it a 3/2 that can regenerate for 3 red. And he's got a chump blocker with the Dragonfly. He's at 15. I think Chris is at like 11. Okay, so he hits in for 6. One of the angels is blocked by the Dragonfly, so he's going to get in for 3 and go down to 12. Now, interestingly, he can regenerate that Crimson Manticore now for 3 red, and he's got the 3 Taigas.
And it's big enough to kill one of the Fallen Angels if nothing gets sacked to it, so it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a 3/2, and he can also tap it after blocking to deal an extra damage if he pays 1 red. So he can actually deal 5 damage total. So Chris plays a Vampire Bats and he's got a Goblin of the Flark. So now he's got some chump bait to pump with the Angel. So he can block one of them and deal 3 damage to it just from blocking damage. And then if he pays a red, he could deal a 4th damage, but he needs to be able to deal 5 in order to... Well, let's see. No, it's +2/+1. Yes, so he needs to be able to deal that 4th damage if the Fallen Angel gets pumped by sacking one of the dudes. Yeah, so he is activating that ability. He's going to regenerate, but he's not going to deal the extra damage. Looks like Chris let one of the angels die and got through with the other one. Or did he sack? Maybe he sacked the blocked angel. So the angel becomes a 5/4.
I mean, if he was going to let it die anyway, he should have, but I don't think he did. He just let them block and regenerate because Taylor only took 4, so he took 3 from the other angel and 3 from the Goblins of the Flag.
Or one from the goblins and 3 from the angel, right? Because the goblins mountain walk, so you can't block them. Okay, so Chris is activating Jaloom Tome. He drew a Bayou and discards it. That's interesting. He's got green in there. Okay, so he attacks with everybody. The angel, the mountain walking goblin, and the vampire bats. So Taylor's got the 1 blocker. So what can he do here? He can block. Oh, but he paid the... He's going to deal 1 damage. He's going to block and deal 1. So he can deal 4 damage to it. That would force Chris to have to sack both of his dudes to save the angel. Oh, look at this. Bloodlust on the mountain walker. 5 sneaking in. I think
that's game.
I think that might be game because Taylor's at 8, right? Nope, he goes to 3. So
he blocked the angel. Okay,
yeah, he blocks the angel, regenerates, and then he pinged the bats, which I guess Chris could have sacrificed to the angel. Yeah, but he gets through for 3 and 5, so he gets through for 8. Or no, he gets through for just 5. So he goes from 8 to 3. Okay, so he's using the
Skull of Orm to get immolation.
To get immolation back, and now he can immolate the goblins. That is very smart. But now he doesn't have any regeneration mana. He doesn't have any regeneration mana for the... Oh, and he got another goblins.
Oh no.
Damn.
If he didn't draw a creature, it would have been better.
Right. So he will have to sack, but now, since he didn't have the regeneration mana, he lost the Manticore, and that was a critical blocker for him. He needs a Fisher. Oh, that's game. Oh, wow.
Well, are we going to game 3, or did Chris win them both? We don't actually know what happened at the end of game 1 there.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty sad. I was toggling back and forth to Gatherer, showing cards for the video. These guys look like they're shuffling up, so I do think Taylor managed to win game 1, right? Let's listen in and see what these guys are saying. Hey guys, both of these games have just been phenomenal to watch.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Like, yeah, John and I over here are just... Red is John's favorite color. So,
yeah.
You know, we're seeing a lot of...
Not color, so he said whether I played the mountain.
Yeah.
It's the best land.
What a great set of games.
Thank you.
Probably going to play mono black next time. But me and John got a secret truce going on. I can't tell anybody.
Hey, that's fine. You guys keep it between yourselves. I mean, it's also great that
he knows what we're doing.
Yeah. Well, we've seen a lot of these cards. We played, in last fall, we played our Pauper events, the Four Horsemen Pauper. We did Pauper Singleton and Pauper Doubleton. And so a lot of the viewers may not know a lot of these cards or haven't seen them in 20, 30 years. But we did see a lot of these spicy cards come up in the Pauper events. All right, good luck, gentlemen, for all the marbles.
All the marbles. Are you doing 2 on top again?
Yeah. We'll just repeat whatever.
All right, so yeah, I mean, we may need to go back and look, John, but I think what happened in game 1 was Taylor was able to get rid of that Mountain Walker and then hit in with his ape once he was able to save it with the Avoid Fate.
Yeah, that was a close game. Well, that second one was actually pretty close.
Oh yeah,
too.
Both of these have been pretty close. If Taylor had been able to hold on to that Manticore for one more turn, he was really tight on mana and he wasn't able to regenerate and play other things. That's the problem with that card, the Brute. You got to have a ton of mana really be able to play it and regenerate. Okay, so first turn Mountain and Curd Ape for Taylor. And that second turn Forest. Getting in for the +2/+3. Oh, and Scavenger Folk. Great card. Great sideboard card. Another card that we saw a lot of in Four Horsemen Pauper. Destroys an artifact. Tap, sacrifice, destroy an artifact. Okay, so Chris drops his Mountain. Oh, that's his turn 1 Mountain. On to turn 2. Second Mountain. And a Fellwar Stone. Ooh, interesting. Artifact Blast on the Fellwar Stone. What do you think about that play, John? That is an interesting play. Artifact Blast on the Fellwar Stone. I mean, it is going to slow your opponent down a little bit, but I think I'd rather save that Artifact Blast for, like, the Jaloom Tomes. And even the Ornithopters, since you know he's got those. The ever-powerful Chain Lightning, zapping out the Curd Apes. I mean, Chain Lightning, it is the direct damage spell of choice.
Many an ape has been cooked.
Yeah, and this card has been reprinted a ton. Masters Edition 3, Premium, Vintage Masters, Eternal Masters.
Well, it didn't get reprinted in paper for quite a long time, and then it got printed in the Foil and Lightning box set, the red box set they did.
Right.
And then that same art got reprinted a couple more times later on, but there was quite a long time between Legends and when that first reprint happened.
Yeah. Okay, so Taylor's getting in for damage with the Scavenger Folk, and Chris lights up the Scavenger Folk with another Chain Lightning. So Chain Lightning is the powerhouse right now. It's just zapping everything. Now, I'm surprised that Taylor did not bounce the Chain Lightning back, because he definitely had the mana to do it that turn, and I think he's just completely forgetting that the Chain Lightning can be chained back and forth. Curd Ape and Giant Strength on the Ape. So there's the 4/5 blocker. Oh, and a Fissure right away. Wow. Fissure right away from Chris. Chris's dice his life dice happens to be right under his name overlay on Whereby here. Oh, interesting. Ivory Tower? What? In the red-green aggro deck? Okay, Immolation on the Ornithopter. Wow, this is some classic stuff here. And then over to Chris's turn. The Goblins of the Flarg. And they get a Giant Strength. So now there's your 3 and a Chain Lightning for Chris. Now, Chris is going to remember here that he can bounce that Chain Lightning back. He is going to take a damage for it, but Taylor will also take 3 damage. Wow, this is so much lightning back and forth. This is a lot of fun to watch. Okay, the Fallen Angel coming down again for Chris. Yeah, I don't know about this Ivory Tower in Taylor's deck. Like, you're blowing. You got all these 1 mana casting cost spells, 1 and 2 mana casting cost spells. So you're not going to have a lot of cards in your hand to gain life from the tower.
Well, there's not really any like wheel effects to fill your hand back up. So I mean, on one hand, it is a really powerful card, and in kind of a stalemate situation, it might be good. Life gain is definitely good in this format, but it's going to be tough for him to get enough cards in his hand to have it make much of a difference. Because he's going to want to be casting the things that he draws, right? So, like, the likelihood that he gets up above 4 cards in this match is pretty low, I think. Although, if he gets some kind of answer for the Angel, like, if he had a Chain Lightning here right now, and he could get rid of the Angel, he might have a couple of turns to just, just draw. He's kind of looking to see if he has any enchantments in his graveyard he can use. Looks like Immolation's the best he can do, but that's not real good unless he can, pair it with something else. Man, this is the game of giant strength.
Yeah.
Like, it is crazy how many of them have hit the table between the two of them over the last 3 games.
Yeah,
so
they must
5/5 Fallen Angel is no joke. And Bloodlust!
Oh!
Not damage.
Wow. Okay, so that's 5/5 on the Angel plus 4 more, so that's hitting in for 9.
Yeah, that's pretty bonkers. That might have sealed the game up there.
Yeah, I mean, if he doesn't have a Fisher, it's game over because he can't kill that guy next turn. And Fisher's the only thing that can do it. Well, Desert Twister. I don't know if he's running Desert Twister. It takes him down to 6. So I guess he could take 1 more hit. Okay. He needs a Desert Twister or a Fisher. Or I guess he could do double Chain Lightning. Chris's red mana is... Well, he's got the City of Brass for red mana. Looking through the graveyard. He's thinking, what can he get back with that Skull of Orm? I guess he could get back a Immolation. Sisters of the Flame. Wow, we haven't seen those since Four Horsemen Pauper either. They are a 2/2 red creature from the dark that adds a red mana, but that is not going to cut it for Taylor.
Well, I think that's it, unless he can, I don't know, he just doesn't have a way to block a flyer. I mean, I guess he'll only take 5 and not 6, so maybe he does have 1 more turn.
All right, so he hits in for 5, and he can sack the goblins for 7. So that's enough damage to do it. Oh, Chris has got the Desert Twister over there. Wow. Okay, that was quite a set of matches. So Chris is going to win that one 2-1. So for the standings, we're going to do top 16 for this one. Oh, that, depending on what happens with Ian's match, Chris might slide into top 16 here.
Yeah, he definitely could at 2-1. I think I was his only loss.
All right, let's jump in here with the guys and see what they're saying.
I didn't even see my my sideboard cards at all.
Yep.
That's game. That's good, guys.
Hey, that was a lot of fun to watch, Chris and Taylor. These decks are, I mean, there's so much back and forth and interaction between them. I don't think I've ever seen some of these plays. Double Giant Strength, the Brute, Immolation, all on one dude. Pretty wild stuff.
It was cool, right?
Taylor, we noticed.
Yeah, I think I think I was playing Derek.
Yeah.
And the dude was like, we were talking like after we got our games done or whatever. This was like tournament 13 or whatever when I was playing last. We were talking about running Wombat. Like I really wanted to play Rabid Wombat.
Yeah, me too.
But he couldn't get to the point. Like I couldn't figure it out. And then finally I just got the cards and I was like, I'm just gonna play it.
I didn't even see it this game.
No, I only got two. Because it's a 1-1.
Okay. Yeah, that's true.
It's a 1-1, so it's so hard to. It's like for 4 mana. It's kind of like it's really costly. It's literally just a pet card I put in the deck.
Yeah, they would take place of Urnham's anyway.
Yeah.
For like the build.
Like honestly, Urnham would just be a beast in this deck.
Yeah,
there was a lot of times where you had the mana, and I was like, man, if he casted Urnham right now, I'm so dead.
Yeah, John and I were talking about that on the commentary. We were like, we kept thinking Urnham was going to be hitting any minute, and we weren't sure, Chris, if you were playing things like Oubliette or Ashes to Ashes, which are both really strong black cards.
Yeah.
So
I don't own any Oubliettes.
Yeah, putting all your enchantments on one dude. You're playing Fisher. I assume Taylor, you might have Fishers as well. Fisher's so good.
No, I don't have them. I bought a printer and I've the cards that I needed. I just printed up.
Sure, yeah.
I never got a chance to print up. Not Oubliette, but Fisher. But like most of the stuff in my deck, the only thing I don't have that's like. The only thing I didn't print, the only thing I have that I printed is the Card Apes, to be honest.
Right. Yeah,
I thought they were all real, to be honest with you.
I can send you some Fissures. I got a bunch of them.
Yeah, Fisher's not very expensive, and it's those look pretty good for printed at home.
For printing, yeah.
Yeah,
those look great.
Sticker paper, really high end printer.
Ooh, we got a binder coming out over here.
And then we were talking about this, like not even like the beginning of this tournament. Somebody was
the Druid, right?
Chat was filled with people talking about running this, and I was like, I'm gonna throw it in my sideboard.
Yeah, the Sentinel Druid.
Four Horsemen binder.
Oh, that's a great looking binder. Wow. Some Army of Allahs, some Sorceress Queen.
Yeah, that's a cool one.
Stone Throwing Devils, Urg Raiders. We were wondering if you were playing Urg Raiders because they're pretty strong.
They are pretty strong, and they probably would have suited my build too.
Ah, yeah, you got a lot of good stuff here, Chris.
Didn't really think about it. Yeah, the Wombats.
Yeah,
I
there's
want to
the
make
Wombats.
Enchantress.
Barbary Apes is another one that's like, it's not great, but it's not terrible. It's like 2/2 for 2. It's 1 green and 1 colorless.
Yeah.
One of our guys was running a deck that he called Blazing Apes. Who was that? Brian Burrow, I think. And he was playing all apes, including the Mountain Yetis and stuff. Wow, look at that. You got a lot of 4-ofs.
Yeah, I've been going hard.
Boomerang.
Certain ones I don't have 4-ofs, like
so I did this. I did this. Hold on.
Oh, there's the legends. Oh my goodness, what is all that?
It goes. I can't. I gotta zoom out.
Are those all binders?
Yeah.
Nice. I bought all these on everything was on clearance.
Whoa.
The only thing I don't like about ring binders is the damage to cards.
Yeah, the rings.
You have to
Yeah, but I mean, if I'm only pulling them off every once in a while.
Yeah. Carrying them around in the bags and going to the shows and stuff did a lot of damage to a lot of cards. Oh, look at all these legends. So, Taylor, all those binders are full of cards?
No, not yet. I just got them.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I just put these shelves up. I just set this up.
Nice. Yeah, it's a pretty cool setup. You got ivory towers. There's there's Suchi's clay statue. Oh yeah, you've got 4 of almost a lot of this stuff. Oh,
Yeah.
is that the Haunting Winds?
Yeah, I have 6 of them. I also have Guardian Beast, and
Ooh.
I have I think 10 of these now.
Damn.
I was trying to go for the whole set, all 16.
Wow.
All 4, but the winter ones are nobody wants to really part with them.
Right. Those are the rare ones. I've been finding Crumble to be really good lately as well, being an instant and only 1 green.
I'm missing a lot
that's
of cards
nice.
in here.
It's an
I
instant.
should redo the binder.
So one of the things that we've been talking about amongst the rules committee, me and John and other folks, is there's like, we did the Pauper events. We did Pauper, two times. We did a Pauper Singleton where you can only have 1 of each card, and all the cards had to be commons, and we allowed anything that had been reprinted as a common as well. So there were things like, for example, what's the card from Arabian Nights that makes a creature flying? The magic carpet.
Yeah, flying carpet.
Flying carpet, yeah. That was reprinted later as a common, and it was also errated. So we had a ton of cards, a lot of the legends that became commons, and there was, just a real wide array of commons, and a lot of people had a lot of fun playing that, and so much so that we did a Pauper Doubleton to follow it up, and we had a lot of people play that.
Yeah, that's cool.
But what we've been talking about is, like, there's a lot of new players coming into the format, and there are a lot of players who have what we would say are less spiky decks, and like, we feel like there's like a spiky version of Four Horsemen, which is super competitive and very control-y often. And then there's like this less spiky version, which I would say you guys' decks fall into. That's more like what we played as kids, with more, less competitive, cutting edge, got to win every match kind of thing. And we've been long trying to figure out, is there a rule set that we could put into place that would encourage this more like, tabletop Four Horsemen style Magic, instead of, people playing these super spiky decks. And we haven't come up with like a happy compromise yet.
From what the guys told me in Toronto, okay, the reason why they don't put out prizes, like they'll do door prizes so anyone can win, is because you'll have like 10 people playing the deck.
Right.
Right? So if you want to do it like that, it's the prizes have to be like, we're going to give out door prizes for the spiciest deck. So then you get people going, I'm going to make it really crazy with this idea, with bringing out Plady Moors or something,
right?
Like Chromium. You're just like, oh man, dragon deck. What the hell?
We could definitely start doing like a spice prize, because for a while there we were doing just participation prizes, and I was doing mailings for like everybody that signed up, and it's cool enough.
It's tedious.
It's a little crazy, but like,
right?
Certainly we could do a spice award.
That's not a bad idea, right? So
that's cool.
That's what they did for Toronto, and I noticed that more and more people are at the tournaments. So. And it's not like you're trying to win the tournament, because they don't really give out, what they gave out? Like, here's a first place City of Brass, like a chronicle. Here, I got a picture of it somewhere. I'll send it to you guys. But like, it's you're not playing for, you're just playing for bragging rights, really.
Yeah.
And the door prizes are the better prizes.
Right.
And then they do it to fundraise, like a homeless shelter or something,
yeah,
or a food bank or something. So they'll sell raffle tickets, and you get like 5 for 10 or something, or for $20 you get as many raffle tickets as your arm is long. So I was like, that's pretty cool, because I got long arms.
Right.
But
you got long arms.
Yeah, I never play them. I'm like, I don't care to play that.
Yeah, well, Four Horsemen, it's starting to get a lot more interest as different players kind of get tired of playing the same old, and I think it's sparking a lot of interest. We've had a lot of folks from Europe, a few folks from UK. There's a whole group from Australia that's playing now.
Nice.
So
as it catches on, there'll be a lot more.
Well, I hope so. the tricky thing is though, is that the players that have been playing since like day one, they've gotten really good. And, you know, like Peter's won over and over and over. John's made it to the finals a few times. He's won twice. There's a couple other players who often make it to the finals or semifinals. And, you know, what we see is the new players that come in, they're like, oh, cool, I get to play my old Four Horsemen stuff. But then there's a lot of experience because we've been doing this now for about 2.5 years, 3 years. And so they get wiped out in their matches. And I feel so bad because, you know, we want people to like enjoy playing, but you know, you can't just throw in 4 Curt Apes, 4 Urnums, you know, some Chain Lightnings and some Taigas and think that like it's gonna get you to the semifinals, because everybody's already done that and they've developed their decks to be more sophisticated. But that's why I feel like there needs to be like a beginners or a less competitive category, or like maybe new members category. Something like that.
Well, I like what you did last time, Chad, where you had like a bottom 8. Like after we did the first round, you signed everybody back up that wanted to play some more, that, you know, didn't make the top 8. That was pretty good.
Yes, we did do that. So
like a side tournament? That's cool.
Yeah, we didn't know what to call it. Someone called it bottom
losers bracket for sure.
Yeah, someone called it like bottom tier or low tier. I think we called it low tier. So it was instead of the top 8 players moving on to the finals, which we still had, you know, we still had the top 8 moving on, but we also had like the lowest 8 decks. We spun them off into their own tournament basically, and everybody seemed to like that because they got to play against less spikier decks, and a lot of the newer players got to play a little more and not just get, you know, like 0-3 on the tournament results.
Yeah. Well, I had fun playing that game. That was
y'all had such,
especially when he had that brute out regenerating, killing my guy, and I'm like, oh man, this is not good.
Yeah, John and I were talking on the commentary. I feel like if Taylor could have kept that Crimson Mana Core with the brute on it, just kept it into play one more turn, and had the mana to regenerate it again, and you know, I think he might have been able to stabilize.
I kept drawing creatures though; it was amazing.
Yeah, your goblins were coming out.
Yeah, they're really good, man. Everyone's playing mountains so far.
I really enjoy playing against both of your decks. Mountains are my favorite basic lands for sure. And I tried to make my main deck this tournament really just kind of straightforward. It's a straightforward like creature beatdown. And then the more miserable control version of it doesn't happen unless I side my sideboard in, which I had to do earlier today when I was playing against another deck. But mostly I just play my main deck and don't bring any of that stuff in.
My work schedule is on pending now. It's amazing.
Well, guys, that was a lot of fun.
Brain.
I think I'll wrap the video. If you guys want to play some more, you're welcome to.
I'm down for whatever, man. Like I said, I don't think I'm working today, so.
Okay.
I only got this one deck, so.
Well, I've got some decks I can play, Chris, if you want to hang out and play.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm down with whatever. Let's do it.
All right.
I can make another deck. I mean, it's pretty fast, I think.
Yeah, I can throw something together.
Let's do it.
While you